Okay, so how many of you have ever dropped your kids off at kindergarten or preschool? Now, when you dropped them off at kindergarten or preschool, did you say, okay, now by the time I pick you up today, I want you to have an idea of what you want to do with the rest of your life, where you want to go to college, and what you're going to do to make the rest of your life the best of your life? Did any of you do that to your kindergartners when you dropped them off? No, of course not. That would be silly, right? And so I like to use the analogy of a marathon. I've run a few marathons. You don't need to run a marathon to be a Beachbody coach. But it's always just a really great life lesson for me. But if you have no way to wrap your head around it, you can think of it in terms of your child that you're dropping off or dropping on their head. So cute. And the reason being is I became a coach about 7 years ago, just celebrated my 7th anniversary. And when I first came to coaching, like Christy said, you're gonna hear over and over, I was skeptical. I kept seeing my coach Becky on Facebook just getting leaner and leaner, and she's got kids the same age as me, so I kept debunking my myth about that this is just what happens. And she was looking amazing, and I kept asking her, finally, Becky, what'd you do? And she's like, P90X, you wanna join me? And I was like, no, but you look awesome, and I went and I started running because running was free, and I was going through a really tough financial spot in my life. And so I ran to the point that I run, and I don't like running, but it was free. And I decided to, at some point, enroll for a marathon because I was running so much, and that was a really good goal that, I could help keep myself accountable. And I got to the marathon line that day, and I remember both being very inspired and just very also awakened because I looked around, and there was all shapes, all sizes, all ages, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, these people are gonna run 26 miles? Wow. And I got out there, and most of them passed me, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. But what it really awakened me to was, yes, even though I was losing weight, marathon was more of a mental thing. And if I wanted my physique to change, I needed to do something else, something like Beachbody, some type of cross training. So I finally, said yes to Becky after all that time, and I started doing P90X too. And in the meantime, my financial situation had gotten really bad. I've been an accounting manager for 13 years. I did really great with that until I was coming back to work with Angelina being born, my daughter. And she was 4 months old, and they called me in the day before my maternity leave was over, and they said, can you come in? And I thought, I know what's happening. We had an issue in our company, and they were downsizing. I was told I'd be part of the skeleton crew, which I was. And I've always been a really hard worker, so I wasn't worried. But I went in that day knowing that I had trained the staff to work without me. So I wasn't even mad at them. It made financial sense for them. But I had Angelina in I had to do a little bit of something, I came into the office with Angelina 4 months in my arms. And I sat with my CEO, and he was really just an amazing soul. I learned so much from him while I was there. And I had no idea what I was about to do. But I looked at him and I said, thank you so much. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your mentorship. And someday, I plan on being a CEO of your stature. So thank you for that example. Mind you, I had no idea. I don't have a college degree. I went through accounting and worked my way up because I'm a hard worker. But I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I knew it wasn't necessarily accounting. So the next couple of years were a big struggle for me. Lots of other things happened. Our house went to foreclosure. We were advised to file bankruptcy to try and save our home. Lots of people probably in here went through that, especially with the Miami market. And on top of that, my marriage was falling to shambles. And no, it wasn't just the financial, but that sure as heck wasn't working. So my goal became to survive from one day to the next, to keep the lights on. And I went from, living a very nice life with a Lexus that was pulled out of my driveway one night to asking my mom for grocery money. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but what an opportunity to smash that ego and rebirth something amazing. So I began doing P90X too because I started realizing that I couldn't control all the things that were happening around me, but what I could control was my fitness. I could control feeling better about myself. I was 30 pounds overweight at the time, and I began pressing play. I saved up my money. I did not start with Shakeology because I didn't think that I could afford it at the time. And I did that workout every single morning, and it was hard. Has anybody ever tried P90X2? Oh boy. The men in the room who think that you need a tough workout, go do it. You will be humbled. So that ego was taking some more lessons down there. And I started doing it though, but what I started realizing is that I could do hard things. And that every single day, even with the modifications, I was getting stronger. And I was showing up for myself. And I was improving. And then I started noticing the things that I was putting into my mouth. Because nobody was forcing me. All these things felt out of control, but I was controlling what was going in my mouth. And bit by bit by bit, I began sparking something in my soul that said, you can do this. You don't have to be here just surviving. You can begin to goal set. You can do other things. And so I finally decided to become a coach. And I read all the rules because I was sure that I was probably going to need to cancel because I couldn't afford it the next month. And I asked Becky, I sent out the email, are you sure I can cancel? Are you sure I can cancel? Because I gave myself the ultimatum. I really wanted Shakeology, guys. I was like getting in good shape, and I thought like Shakeology is it. I know as soon as I have that, then my abs are gonna come through. I was ready. So I saved up, I finally ordered my challenge pack and enrolled as a coach, and I said, okay, this month, if I don't have 3 people who join me that can cover with that commission, the cost of my Shakeology for next month, I'll cancel. What have I got to lose? And that month, I got those 3 people to sign up. And I went, this is awesome. I have Shakeology. My life is complete. Mind you, my car was getting towed out of the driveway and everything else. But I had something that I was in control of finally, right? And so that next month came around, and I heard that this coaching thing, it was really fun. I really was enjoying it. People were helping me, in the group, they were excited. That was helping me with my own accountability. And I thought, okay, if I can do this again next month, then I can actually have a profit of $90, right? And then somewhere in the middle of all of that, I heard that there was a Success Club trip that year, and it changes from year to year, but that year, I was able to earn that trip with what was left of the year and take my kids, who were 3 and 6 at the time, to Disney World. I always try not to get emotional in this part, but it might get me. That year, we were coming up on Christmas. I did not have money to buy my kids Christmas gifts. I had not taken my children to, even though we live here, 3 and 6, those are the ages that gosh, they need to go see Mickey Mouse, right? And all of a sudden, I saw that there was an opportunity to not just go stay on my sister's couch, but to stay at the yacht club and do the Disney experience. And I needed to, reach a particular rank, and I needed to continue helping 3 people each month. And I said, that's it. I am taking my kids to Disney World, and that's gonna be their Christmas gift. And I put that on my shoulders because I knew I was doing these workouts. I can do hard things. At 3 people a month, I can do this. And so I began doing it. And month after month after month after month, I did it. And for 6 months, I hit that every single month. And came December, I went to the Disney store, and I asked them if I could shoplift just 2 empty gift cards. And I put those in an envelope and put them under the tree for the kids. And that was our Christmas. I got to take them to Disney World. Thank you. And that was really just the beginning. I had no idea. I'm giving you guys the big picture now, because I didn't even realize at that time. I saw people doing it, but I wasn't even paying attention, guys. I was trying to keep the lights on. I didn't even realize the income potential, and I was getting divorced in the midst of all of that. So, I show up, and I had gone back to school because I'm a fighter. I was working with one of my coaches as a sole practicing attorney. I was doing her books, and I was just the day-to-day making it work. And I went to Disney World, and I sat down with someone that showed me, actually I heard them whisper about him. We're walking out of one of the parties, and they're he retired his dad. I'm like, he retired his dad? What are you talking about? They're like, no, you can do that. You can earn significant income. And I'm like, nah. And Becky's like, you need to go talk to him. And I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to him. I followed him around and waited until he finally talked to me, and he sat down, and with the generosity that we have in the community of Team Beachbody, I was nothing to him. He sat down with me and explained the entire comp plan. He opened my eyes to the vision that someday I wasn't gonna have to be the single mom running from office to traffic to aftercare, to come home, to throw them in the shower, to pick up somebody else's food because I couldn't have time to cook for them and do it all over again the next day. That was not going to be my life. And that day I said, it doesn't matter how long, it doesn't matter how hard I need to work, it doesn't matter. And I know that there's things that you say, well, good for you, but that's not me. But guys, I'm telling you, if I could do it, my mic went out. Whoop. If I could do it.
You do hard things.
No. I can scream, I'm a cheerleader. Somebody's hitting the cord.
Cut. It's better.
Okay, does everybody want to get really quiet and hear the end of the story?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's not the end, but it's a really cool checkpoint, right? And so, can you hear me in the back? Awesome. Okay, so then what happened was, I started working, and little by little by little, I didn't have internet because I was that broke, I had to shut off my internet. I worked and built my business the first year from my cell phone, which is not the beautiful iPhones that we have today. I was going to school at the point, again, I'd gone back to school, I was working, I was figuring out the single mom thing, I was bankrupt, I was finding a new house because mine was in foreclosure, and I had other legal things happening because my ex was not an easy situation. And so with all of these things, it's really easy for all of us to say, you know what, Beachbody will be good another day. Maybe after this is over, I'll try Beachbody. But I looked at it and I said, Beachbody, that's my solution. That's helping me grow as a person. It's helping me fix my financial situation. It's helping give me a vision for what I want my kids for the future and what I demand of myself because they are worth it, and so am I. And I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked. I was able to retire from my job at that point. Came back on. I like screaming though, I'm ready. I was able to retire from my job and become a full-time coach, which means I could take my kids to soccer and I could pay for them to be in gymnastics while I sat on the side and watched them and worked. And this has created such an opportunity for me and my family. My parents have significantly improved their health. Thank you to Autumn and Kat in particular. My parents have been my biggest fans, just like Anna. They've, for the past 5 years, sat and worked out with Autumn and Kat. I had a video of my dad yesterday. He hates when I video him, but I snuck up behind him yesterday. He was doing his jumping jacks. But it has entirely changed the absolute dynamic of my family, my future, my kids' future, the kind of mom I could be when I'm with my kids. Because what good is it if when you're with your kids, you're super cranky and you're worried about everything else? And that's the energy that you're projecting to them. I'm able to grow as a person. I'm able to help them grow as individuals. And this is all because I had the audacity to say, why not me? I can do it. And so my challenge to you today is to ask yourself, why not me? She doesn't have a degree. Her car got towed out of her driveway. She's been in court more times than she cares to admit. Why not me? Thank you, guys.